Hey, what is up, everybody? Thanks so much for joining. We appreciate you guys holding on for us. I'm going to get to saying what's up to everybody. It's kind of last minute, but we kind of wanted to show everybody like when we discuss and we talk about behind the scenes. This is kind of what we do for our members, kind of give a sneak preview of what we do, what we talk about. This discussion happens to be on one of the most notorious places to me, and one that's always going to hold a special place in my heart. Villisca Axe Murder House. If you guys don't know, we've gone to Villisca several times. Probably one of the best places that I've ever been, that we've captured some of the most, the best, I guess you could say, the best evidence that we've captured to date. So I'll bring the rest of the team on so we can all say what's up. So here's Jen. What's up, Jen?
Hi, guys.
There's Roman. What's up, Roman?
What's up?
And there is MJ. So we got the whole team here, and this is kind of what we do behind the scenes, guys. We do this as a bonus to our members, to say thank you. And I know not everybody can afford pay $20 for a thing. This one is to do live streams like this that we do behind the scenes is literally $1. So if you guys can, cool. We would love for you guys to come join us all the time. But this is one of the benefits that, like I said, we kick over to our members. So just our way of saying thank you. And a way of saying thank you to our fans too. We kind of wanted to give you guys a sneak peek at behind the scenes of kind of what we do, what we talk about. This episode, like I said, is about the Villisca Axe Murder House. If you guys don't know about it, we'll kind of go over it. We'll go over the details, talk with you guys a little bit about it, and go from there. But I'm gonna say what's up to everybody in the chat real quick. So hey, what's up, Anna Brown? Hey, what's up, Tinker Boo, Delilah Miller, Jerry K, Maria B, Mary Lou, Tracy L, Mary O'Connor, Lynn G, Comptut 52, Chastity, what's up, Chastity, Marine, Delilah Miller, Stacy Ramirez, what's up, Mama Jane Starr, G, Roman Ramirez is even in there. What's up, Roman? MJ's Life is in there too. What's up, MJ? Am I missing anybody? Let me go up. Desire. I know it's supposed to be Desiree, right? You were telling me it's Desiree.
She likes you to say Desire. She said leave it.
I'm gonna say Desire. Who else am I missing? I'm gonna go all the way back to the beginning, see if I missed anybody. What's up, Wendy Land? What's up, Rhonda Parcher? Miss anybody else? Jen C. Hey, what's up, Jen C? Haven't seen you in a while. WV Holla Girl. All right, guys. So we'll get going on it. How many of you guys know about Villisca Axe Murder House? If you guys have been with us for a little bit, you guys have known that we've gone to there. But I'm curious to see, because we have a lot of new members and a lot of new people that are coming and going throughout the channel. So I'm curious, how many of you put it like number one in the chat if you've been here before? Hey, what's up, Miss Writing Solo? What's up, Cricket Pits? What's up, Miss? I don't want to mess up your name. Oh, where did it go? Yeah, it bounced away. Elasser? Let's see. El Sasser. Miss El Sasser. That's what it is. Ow. And then Sandy Smith. What's up, Sandy Smith? Lorraine B. Mom, I think hopefully I got everybody. So 111. I'm seeing a lot of ones. You remember us going there, Lorraine B?
I put a 1 2 times.
For each time that we went?
Yeah.
Yazzie Jewel. You watch the coverage on it? It's pretty crazy. You know what's actually crazy is when we used to do investigations, and this is what's going to change. And I'm kind of excited to see like the direction that we're going to go as a team and things. I'm pretty stoked about it. It's basically going to be like an official series, guys. It's going to be like an actual episode, one that you would watch at Ghost Adventures or some of the other people. I'm all drawing a blank. Who else is
Ghost Hunters?
Ghost Hunters. And yeah, all those people, like anybody that does those ghost shows. I don't want to start naming a bunch of names because then you guys will start jumping over. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, but it's literally going to be like that, and I'm pretty stoked about it. Yeah, see, look, we have a lot of people that know about Villisca axe murder. It's one of those places that I was just talking about it to the team too. I was telling the team how I'm like, every time I start getting excited about it. I start getting excited about going back to the location. So we have 2 different investigations coming up, and I'm excited to do both. One is like a almost like demon house, if you will. We've heard that there's a lot of demonic activity that's going on in there, so we're going to go check it out. It's also in Atchison, and we're going to go back to return to the Sally house. So I felt like it was important for us to go back to the Sally house, and shout out to Jen too, because Jen's putting all the upfront things up here to take care of the team. So I thought I'd send a shout out to Jen, because she's, she does behind the scenes, and then she's always like, yeah, I'll chip in, I'll do this and that. And she's so adamant. She's always been awesome about being a contributor to the team and to, just the channel in general. So Jen, thank you for all that you do. So we have to send a shout out to Jen real quick and say thank you. So we're excited to go check out this place. And so we're going to kind of duel it up this time. It's going to be interesting because it's 2 places that are supposedly demonic, and it's going to be back to back. So it's going to be a tough investigation. But those are going to be the ones that we're going to start filtering out to the other channel where we do paranormal investigations. So Tracy Hogan, what's up, Tracy? D Wilkinson, what's up? Hopefully I didn't miss anybody else. I'm excited to see, to do those investigations, and we want to try to do that. Like I said, we're trying to move in a direction where this main channel we do is a lot of the spirit box sessions, right? Because let's be honest, like one of our main things that has made us separated us from the rest of the crowd is our spirit box sessions. We've been eerily accurate sometimes on the spirit box sessions, a lot of times actually on the spirit box sessions, where we've come up with information before. I mean, we could start naming names, but you guys know, if you've been here, you know, we've had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, ones that we're coming up with information that is relevant to the case even before what's happening. So that's what this main channel here is for. We do like the spirit box sessions, and we go over it, and we go over the findings, and we talk about it and see if we can find any way to try to obviously bring the paranormal side of things, try to see if we can get any help for the family or the victims, see if we can locate the missing person, see if we can get any information that's going to help, see if we could do it. Sometimes, unfortunately, it's too late, but they find it down weeks, months later. I wish that sometimes paranormal investigators or things would be taken a little bit more seriously, because there is something to it. And it almost feels like, how many more times do you have to do it in order for it to be proven? Is that kind of what you guys feel like too?
Yeah.
It's like, how many times do we have to show like the accuracy or something coming up before you become credible, I guess?
Us personally, or the paranormal world in general?
Just paranormal in general, not even just us, but like just
I think
paranormal in general.
It's been proven that people have faked the paranormal stuff. So I think people still sit on a line of, well, are they faking? It's kind of one of those, unless you're there, you don't really believe that it happened.
That's a good point, MJ. You bring up a good point. And that is one of the reasons why when I originally created this channel, I was so adamant about everything I do. I want to make sure that we have a live for this, because I want everything that I see and I hear for you guys to see and you guys hear at the same time and experience it. That like that's, anybody on my team can attest to that. That's one of the things that I'm like, we got to make sure that we have that live. We got to make sure that it's recorded. We got to make sure that it has a timestamp. We got to make sure that it has that there, so there can be no question, there could be no doubt, there could be no argument about it. It's like, how do you argue some of those facts? It's like, oh, it came up with the name of the murderer before it came, or it came up with the location of a lake before it anybody else knew where she was at, or those different things come about. And it's like, I don't know. And I know that there's a lot of people that fake paranormal out there. I know that there is. I've heard rumors about some of the major people faking the evidence, and people coming to light and saying, yeah, it's kind of phony baloney crap. And that's what I don't want to become, right? You don't want to become that phony baloney paranormal channel that we just got to do, like the
Yeah.
everything's just
Our reactions.
stop running.
Running!
Oh man, like I don't want to become that channel. I want to make sure that when we go out there, when we do the investigations, we're thorough about it. We try to figure out whatever it is we can, and we try to prove the existence of the paranormal. Now, what's kind of cool about like what our channel is and what it does versus what somebody else does is we've incorporated the true crime world, inside of it, because they kind of go hand in hand. They're like one and the same, the paranormal and the true crime. A lot of times you have in the true crime world, you have the deaths, you have, somebody missing or somebody stolen or kidnapped or raped or on and on and on and on. Tragic, very tragic things that are happening. And those make for some of the most notorious haunted cases, right? Like the most paranormally active cases that you'll find out there are where tragedy has occurred.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, like in the true crime world, it's like it's one and the same. It's like you have all of those tragedies. It makes up for all the disasters. It's like a tornado. It's like it's like a perfect storm,
Well, I think too, they collide well because people want answers, whether it's why or how. They want answers, and they'll take them really any way they can.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's always what I want too. I know it's been a little bit more difficult when we first came out, right? When we first came out, it was a little bit easier for me to jump on and try to be in communication with everybody in the chat and talk to everybody. And now it's just it's not as easy. And I try to explain to everybody what it's like to do the paranormal. And that's kind of what I want to show too. Like, what is it really like to be a paranormal investigator, Because I know Jen will attest to this. I know Roman will attest to this. I know MJ will attest to this. There's a big difference between watching paranormal on television or on YouTube or on a movie or, anything like that versus actually being at the location, actually experiencing what's going on. And we try to bring it to you the most raw that we can. Paranormal is not always sexy, right? Like when you do a paranormal investigation, if you're watching a full investigation, let's face it, like why don't Zach Baggins and Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters, why don't they usually do lives like that? And
Right.
I could probably tell you why is because everybody wants to see that crammed down version, right? You want to see the crammed down version. Give me the juicy, just give me the good stuff. Like most people don't have the patience to deal with trying to watch a full investigation because let's face it, some of it is literally sitting, being patient, trying to be still, trying to figure out. It's difficult, like especially in a place like where we went, Roman and Jen, when we went to Malvern Manor. Huge location, huge location.
Big place.
Your head's spinning just from trying to figure out where in the world you're at. Well, I know this room, this room, and this room, and this room.
Where we're setting up or what's going on or something happens and then it distracts you to go somewhere else. And it's like hard to keep, right, as you said, Mekcee, and Roman as well, is like keep everybody entertained, but it's almost as if you can't because you have so much going on and you forget, like you're focused on something else and someone's doing something here or I don't know. Yeah, but I think that sometimes it looks like like our last investigation, just Malvern Manor. We have some things that have happened that maybe Mekcee hasn't, right? You haven't told other people, but things that have happened on those investigations, there are reasons, things that, had cut it off or, you know what I mean? Or like we stopped or, things happen.
Yep. And things happen in between too, like when you're recording. Love wins. I'm not sure. I will say this, and my team will vouch for me on this too. I really don't watch a lot of paranormal investigators. I just don't do it for several reasons. One, a lot of it I think is malarkey, and two, I don't want to be influenced by anybody else's investigations on what they're doing, because let's face it, like me watching paranormal when I used to do it all the time before I used to have this channel, before I used to actually go on a lot of investigations and do a lot of these things and do a lot of these spirit box sessions. You get influenced so much from the outside source, and you're like, well, this is how you do a paranormal investigation. Well, I'm trying to reinvent that wheel, like, and I feel like my creative juices, per se, for lack of a better term, my creative juices basically get blocked when I start to look at somebody else's, like, what are they doing? Like, well, maybe I should be doing what they're doing. Like, and I don't want to do that. Like, I've been venturing out to the point where I'm trying to figure out how to create my own spirit box, which is supposed to be I'm trying to figure out how to create my own spirit box. I'm trying to figure out ways that I can create my own methods and my own things so that people adapt to what is Mekcee doing. Mekcee's getting some good results, you know. Like, I want to do what Mekcee's doing. I want people to come to here and be like, you know what, they've come up with some pretty cool results, because I don't want to be that guy that's constantly chasing the tail. I don't want our team to be that person that's constantly chasing the tail. They just came out with a new piece of equipment, and you know, everybody else has got it under the sun, and you know, it's cool to get those pieces of equipment that are accurate, that do things, and of course it's exciting, it's new, it's fresh, but at some point you start seeing the people do the same things over and over, and it becomes repetitive, which I'm excited about. Jess, did you throw I think I missed a
Yes, she did.
super chat. Thank you for that. I don't know where it's at. I missed it. I don't remember. Thank you,
Part
Jess.
of the best YouTube family.
There it is.
My phone is acting
We're happy to
totally
have you.
crazy. My guys, sorry, I just got back. My phone's being crazy, you guys. It was like literally saying that it was going to shut off and dial 911.
Jen's having a rough night, y'all.
Jen, you having a moment?
No, it's every time. I swear to God, my
Hey,
phone
Gabby.
is possessed.
Oh man. Well, thank you, D. Wilkinson. We appreciate that. We try to do the best that we can for you. I'm constantly, my team will tell you too, I'm constantly trying to figure out ways that we can to improve what we do, to improve, to be better, to be newer, to be fresher. Like, I want to be those paranormal people, but I want to be both sides of it, right? Because let's face it, not everybody that's interested in the spirit box sessions, right, is interested in the paranormal. And I found that out pretty quickly. Like, we grew in popularity from the spirit box sessions and things that we do. But there's a difference between the spirit box sessions and the paranormal investigations. And a lot of it's interesting. I will say, like, the spirit box sessions are absolutely, they're interesting. Like, you can get information and things like that, and we break down the findings, and you're like, whoa, that's that what before? That's crazy. So absolutely, it's that. But we want to incorporate those same techniques and those same tactics that we use in the spirit box sessions. We want to do that in the investigations that we have too, because some of the places that we've gone have unsolved things in them. Villisca axe murder, like what we're going to talk about tonight. Villisca axe murder, right? Unsolved. They never found the murderer. They had suspects, and probably the correct suspects. But I think that they also were looking at the incorrect suspects too. I think they just started wanting to pin it to somebody. Let's face it, you're in a little town. There's a lot of pressure to find who did it, right? you're trying to come up with it.
Not be scared, so they'll pin it on anybody.
Yeah, they'll try to pin anybody who's weird or off the box, which is what I think happened to Reverend Kelly. I don't know. My personal opinion is he was weird, but I don't necessarily think that Reverend Kelly did it. I don't think that he did. I think that they also were known for beating the crap out of him too, to try to get him to confess.
Mm-hmm.
Best group on YouTube. Oh, thanks, Shannon. We appreciate you. I love spirit box sessions. Would love to find a good spirit box. Have them looking. Rena, with that, I always advise this. I know people love to try to do the spirit box sessions, but I always advise against doing it. It's a very, very dangerous thing, and people don't think it's a dangerous thing, but it's a very, very dangerous thing to do. I won't do it in my house. I won't do it anywhere there. I do it like with praying before, praying after, doing like I go through a lot of different steps, even like praying over the whole team, praying over everybody else, doing I try to take as many steps as I can because you don't know what's coming through. A lot of what communicates is what's called familiar spirits. And familiar spirits, if you're not sure what those are, does anybody know what familiar spirits actually are?
Pretending to be your loved ones.
Yeah, they're demons. They're demons. They're fallen angels. A familiar spirit is somebody who knows, they have knowledge about what has happened to those things. That's why when you're asking, like I ask it in a very specific way because I know a lot of people don't necessarily, well, some people won't necessarily agree with me, and that's okay. We can each see our own different things. But like for instance, when I do the spirit box sessions, one of the things I always tell everybody, if you notice, what do I ask? I'm looking for spirits who know of or about this person. I don't ever ask for the person, because to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. It says it right there. And if you're absent from the body and you're present with the Lord, you can't be in two places, right? If you're present and you're in the presence of the Lord, you can't be here too. So when you're talking to spirits, you're talking to familiar spirits, you're talking to spirits that know the things that have happened, know the secrets, know what happened. They were there in the place. They can recite exactly what happened. They can you know what I mean? Like they can tell you what location, they can tell you those places, they can tell you the details of it. That's why it's very careful, and I always advise against, don't do the spirit box. Don't do the spirit box. It's very dangerous. Very dangerous.
It can get you into a lot of trouble.
It can.
You won't
Absolutely.
even realize that you're in trouble until it's too
Tracy,
late.
thank you so much for that. Thank you for that super sticker. We appreciate you. We appreciate all your guys' support.
Even listening, I know that question comes across a lot of times on YouTube and TikTok when you're doing spirit boxes. Like, can something happen to me just by listening? And I'm like, if you think that it can, it can. So like, you probably shouldn't watch, and that's not to deter anyone away from watching, but prayer, what Mekcee prays and stuff. But if you're feeling some type of way, you should probably leave the chat.
Oh yeah, and I always advise against that too. There's people that have been like, I feel sick, I feel nauseous. I'm like, leave. Turn it off.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
I mute a lot of times. Well, one, because like going over the findings, I don't want to hear what's going on, but I'll turn it down real low just so if you say MJ, what'd that say? Review, then I can still hear you. But a lot of times I'll mute because I will get sick listening to it. It's just it's that binary repetitive sound too can make you feel all kind of wonky.
Thank you, Jazzy Jill. We try to be as accurate as we can. Let me think about the connect. Let's see. Of course,
the connect SLS.
You can be everywhere. The Lord is everywhere. Yes, the Lord is omnipresent. He's the only one that's omnipresent. Like he can be all locations. He's the only one that can. Spirits are like a social network. Think of them as like a social network. They may not be able to be omnipresent like the Lord is, like Jesus is, right? But they have different ways of communication. I believe telepathy. I believe that just like when Jesus said he spoke things into existence, I think that they can do like not necessarily reading minds and things like that, but communicate in a way that's like almost like a network, almost like it's like the World Wide Web, right? Almost in that way. Let's see. I felt off before. All right.
What did you just? Like spirits can repeat what you just said? Maybe not the whole thing, but where you're saying about the network.
Spirits are like a network. Think of them as like the World Wide Web, Google. Right? They can communicate in a way that you and I can't. Like right now, we can get on a phone or we can get on a chat and we can communicate. Spirits essentially the same thing. They can use technology. They can use different things to use the communication. Like just because they're halfway around the world, they're not omnipresent like Jesus or like God. They're not omnipresent. They can't be in all places at once. He's the
You
only
said
one.
something about telepathy, and I was like, wait, what?
Well, I said it's essentially like telepathy.
Yeah.
It's not like they're
I just
actually doing telepathy. And I don't know what the rules and regulations are. I mean, that's a
Right. I mean, who knows?
question for God, but
I mean, yeah, well,
because I know that they have special things that we don't have, right? They were with God before they were fallen angels. So they have a lot of knowledge to things that are probably like mind-blowing to us. To us, we don't know all the rules and regulations. They can bend it, obviously, because if God can speak things into existence, obviously he showed them how to do as such too, showed them how to do the different things that he did, right? They were created for his being, so they have knowledge of the different things that they can do, but they all have rules and regulations. Like God is kind of, the all determining thing. He's the word, he's the truth, he's the light, he's everything, he's omnipresent, but they can't be God. They can't do what God does, but they have knowledge about things that God does, and they have knowledge of how to communicate and do different things that we don't.
How do they know sometimes? Well, I guess you won't know that answer, but like when you go to say a question, a lot of times on the spirit box, they'll answer for you. They'll answer your question before you finish it.
Because they know where you're going with it.
Yeah.
Think of it as like, how do we do the same thing when we can finish someone's sentence? Like when we know what they're going to do, it's almost like a predicted text.
Yeah, true.
You predict it. Same type of thing. They can't read your mind.
Right.
Demons can't read your mind, but they can do things like that. They grasp that. They're smart. They know your weaknesses. They know your strengths. They know how you act. They know how you speak. They know the directions and things that you think of.
Your patterns.
They know patterns. They know things. They know different, like our vocabulary is usually with the grouped end, right? I mean, our vocabulary is who we are. Our vocabulary is probably not very big, so I'm sure it's not very hard to figure us out.
I just wanted to ask questions because I know you love me asking questions.
They're sneaky, Tracy. Yes, absolutely, they are
Hard
sneaky.
to ask questions.
Sneaky. Just want to see, Catherine Summers. Just want to be sure. Does one need to be a member to hear the findings? No. We do we do findings videos that are we give before what we will release to the general public, like to everybody, all of our followers, all our subscribers. And we call them, what do I call it? I don't know what I call it. Members only, the findings or something like that. But I throw it out there, like essentially like maybe a day, maybe like 12 hours, maybe 6 hours. It just depends on how quickly I come up with the video and when I'm going to release it. I'll release it prior to the rest of the public being able to see it. So it's kind of like a little, hey, sneak peek. You guys get a little sneak peek before everybody else gets to see it.
The only thing that really he was talking about being members only is when we do these panels.
Was the what?
I was saying what you were saying about members only is this what we're doing tonight is what will be members only.
Yeah, and again, for those who are just joining, we do like a members only type thing, and this is one of those ones that we do. Like normally we talk about, like for instance, this one's about Villisca axe murder. We kind of got off on a tangent. We were talking about everything else because we're live and we're answering questions. Usually it's not this hectic. We have less people in there, so we can kind of communicate, talk back and forth, and we kind of go over the things. Like we'll get into the Villisca axe murders here in a second, and kind of talk about it and talk about the discussion. Love your work. Awesome. Thank you, Amy. Appreciate you.
Mekcee, you're members only as well, though. You have like behind the scenes, like when you're going on the investigations, like there's so much more to your members only, though, right? I mean, I don't know if people understand that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we offer behind the scenes. Investigations. That's going to be one of them too.
Investigation, right?
Investigations are going to start. I know people. We started since we had a lot of the spirit box sessions and people are interested in those mainly on this channel. We started to detach ourselves and go over to the second channel, which by the way, if you haven't subscribed to the second channel, I'm telling you, you're going to want to do it because our investigations are next week. And we're going, I know next week is crazy to say, Friday and Saturday. So what we're going to do is we're going to do, like a members only live so we can get the timestamp so we can keep it live, but it's going to be for the members only. and I don't remember the specific level. I don't think it's the dollar level to watch the investigations. I think it's like the $5 level to watch it. Also on Patreon, you can watch it there too. But a lot of what we're going to do is be focusing on the actual investigation. So we'll be tagging you along, but it won't be so much as focused like on what's going on there. We'll probably have somebody designated to try to look at your guys' questions and kind of like, tag behind and maybe answer them if needed. But we got to be, we got to be quiet and diligent to try to do our investigation to try to make it what we were talking about. So those are going to start going behind the scenes live so we can get the timestamp, so we can get that, so we can show the members. But then we're going to compile it so we can show you guys the best of. We're not going to cut everybody out and be like, oh, you guys can't watch the investigations anymore. No, we're moving to the second channel for the investigations, and we're doing it like we would do a television series so that you guys can watch the best of the investigation. So you don't have to watch like an 8-hour investigation. Let's face it, not everybody wants to watch an 8-hour investigation. You sit there and you're like, I've been here for 20 minutes and the only thing I heard was that. That's what I heard. I don't want that to be. And we can't guarantee that every single place that we're going to go is going to have like action-packed investigation. That's not how it works. We can't predict how it's going to go. Jamie,
subscribe to the second channel that's in here? Does everyone know where to go to look at that?
I just linked it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat.
Make sure everybody subscribe so you guys can see it.
Yeah, it's right there. If you look up Mekcee Paranormal too, it'll come up. But this is the link. MJ, thank you for posting that. That's the link to get to the second channel for the investigation. So if you guys are interested in the paranormal investigation side of things, we're going to start hitting hard with these paranormal investigations. We're going to start giving you guys some goods. We're going to start giving you the goodies on there. So let's see. KY Songbird. I was wondering if you've contacted the little boy's stepmom alleged murder. Gannon? Yeah, we did a session a long time ago on Gannon. A long time ago. That was the house that I actually went up and knocked because they had some people. Don't be suspicious. Yeah, I went up and knocked on the door, and I actually spoke with the gentleman who was there, and he had a child there. And I asked him. I was really friend about it. I said, hey, I assume you know what happened here at this location. I'm a paranormal investigator. I was wondering if you would allow me to come do an investigation. If not, I completely understand. I was respectful to him. And he was really cool. He was respectful. He's like, man, I can't. And I told everybody else too, I was like, in a moment, like if somebody came up to me and was like, can I paranormal investigate your place, man? I'd be like, no, man, you can't paranormal investigate my house, man. I know what's happening.
No, thank you, sir.
Remember to have your gift settings set to accept in case members decide to gift memberships.
Oh
yeah. I'm the worst about doing all this stuff. I really am.
I always forget about that gift thing because you actually have to go in and turn it on.
You. Hummingbird, do you think it is possible that the owner of the Villisca axe murder house stages activity? No, I don't. I've been there twice now. I have looked in every nook and cranny about that place because I'm very curious. You'll watch, ask Rome and ask Jen. Am I very thorough when I go through the house and I start looking at stuff? I start looking behind beds. I start looking around. I start looking for any cameras and different things. And I actually got a detector too. I didn't tell you guys, but I got a detector for hidden cameras and stuff because there was a place that we went that was in question that we thought about it. And I went and I bought one after we talked about that investigation. I was like, I don't want people to have hidden cameras up in there while we're trying to do investigations. So, but great question though. Great question. No, I do not believe they stage it. And I can tell you for a fact too, one of the pieces of evidence, which I'm going to show you guys here in a little bit, was still to me the most wild. When I had set a night vision camera up in the attic, and I was downstairs and I came back up later, probably 3 minutes later, maybe. But before I came back up, there was a whisper that whispered into that night vision camera that said, Mekcee's coming. That's what you guys hear at the end of the video. Mekcee's coming. Mekcee's coming. And it repeats it. That was that thing. So it referred to me as Mekcee, which was astounding to me. I was like, that was one of my first pieces of evidence. That thing literally just called me Mekcee and said I was coming, and then all of a sudden I start coming up the stairs. So Yeah, but that's a
Yeah.
great question. Great question. I want to watch it all.
You have things intelligently answering you as well, Mekcee, I feel.
Oh yeah, there's absolutely
Oh, all
intelligent
the time.
conversations. I'll let Jen tell you a little story about her, the Villisca axe murder. This is the first one that she ever got to come in on the investigation. What was your experience when you got to do that, Jen?
Well, I had gone one time with my husband just during the day, and the gentleman who runs it is very nice, and he let me kind of roam by myself. And I went and I did it, and then I was said, you know, hey Mekcee, will you go on an investigation if I go? And then he was like, oh, he never usually does this. so then, but we did. So the greatest part of it, you know, it was really crazy because guys, once those lights, once the sun goes down, the energy changes completely. And I'll never forget it because I walked in with Mekcee and Roman, and you know, it was just insane. And you know, I watched Mekcee. I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but I've watched Mekcee literally intelligently in Lena and Ina's room where they were staying cast out a demon, and we have that on camera. I watched a spirit box where we had just gone upstairs when we just got there, and we just sat in the attic, the three of us, or actually it was four of us at the time, but Chris my husband had walked in there with us just to make sure I was safe when we got there, and we sat down, and it was definitely like, you know, swearing at Mekcee, intelligently asking him, you know, talking to him, and Mekcee would ask it a question, and I was just in awe because I have never seen that before in my life. Like, you know, you see it on TV, you see, you know, things like that, and for everything to happen right off the bat like that, it was insane. At one point, like I said, we were in the kitchen, and Mekcee was upstairs doing a spirit box, and Rome and I were in the kitchen, and we're watching, you know, the light sensors go off, and nobody's touching them. We're totally away from it, and footsteps. God, it was terrifying. At one point, we were in the kitchen, and I'll never forget it. Is when Mekcee had gone in, and it literally, Mekcee turned around to come back into the kitchen when it was Mekcee was speaking to it, and it said, "Where are you going?" and Mekcee said, "What did it say?" I was like, "It said, where are you going?" And he's like,
I want me to know.
He walked right, but you were talking to it, and he walked right back in there, and he was like talking to it, and I'm just like literally next to Roman. I literally could have grabbed onto his leg. I was terrified, and I was like thinking to myself, "Oh my God, like just insane." And Mekcee told me, "Jen, you know, you know, your safety is my most concern, and this is in the very beginning." And he's like that for all of us as well. And you know, it opened my eyes a lot, and I really realized at that point that, you know, we've all, I don't know, we're all here for the same reason. We've experienced paranormal in our own ways, right? We're interested in it. Maybe all of us have experienced something, but
Yeah, absolutely.
insane. It's insane. That place is insane.
Yeah, it's one of the most haunted locations I've ever been. It's full of paranormal activity. And here's the one that Jen was actually talking about, where I had just got done casting out. Right here is the main living room, and over here is the main wall where they had the killer or killers had stuck the axe, and that's going into where Lena and Ina Stillinger were. And there was a demon over there was telling me it was a demon, it was going to do things, and the devil, and blah, blah, blah. So I went in there and I actually cast it out. I said, "You're not allowed to be here. I cast you out in the name of Jesus Christ. I cast you out." And as soon as I do that, I turned it back to look at the camera over here, and you'll see, like, I'll try to zoom in a little bit, but you'll see it's about right here. You'll see a shadow shoot down here, and you have to watch it because it's quick. It goes zoom and goes across the floor.
I did.
So times zoom. Did you guys see it?
I did.
So that was one of Jen's first experiences with seeing a freaking shadow jump out of the room as I'm casting it out. And you just see doom, and it just shoots, and you could see it emit a shadow down across the floor too.
And guys, this is caught on my camera. So that's what's insane is that I'm filming Mekcee when he has his camera set up, but this is literally me just filming him, and like this thing is arguing with him intelligently. I could not believe what I was seeing and hearing, and I was just filming, and we lo and behold, flies right out of there. It's just insane. And then it was quiet.
Yeah,
right, Mekcee?
That's right. At first, we were having a lot of different things. It was arguing, it was being argumentative. It was telling me it was going to do this, it was going to do that. It was a demon, it's trying to threaten. And then that's when I get in it. At some point, I get in that in investigations where I get irritated. It's almost like I get irritated that it thinks it has more authority than somebody who loves Jesus and has that. Like, my king is Jesus, so if you think I'm going to let you push me around as a demon, like, you got another thing. Like, you're going to try to scratch me. You're going to try to do that. You're going to try to throw monkey wrenches at me. You're going to make me puke sometimes. You're going to do things. But guess what? I'll always get back up and I'll always go right back to it. And my team will tell you the same thing. Like, there's never been a time where I've backed down from an investigation, even after I've gotten attacked, even after they've tried to do that, even after they've tried to assert their authority. Like, I'll get back and I'll be like, no, I see you. I hear you. And I don't care. You're not doing it. You're not.
Mekcee, they're asking if you can make it a solo where it's just that video so it's bigger.
Let me see.
Does it have sound? Is it saying something?
It's because
it's me.
No, like, make it the solo layout.
Yeah, I don't think I can because it's because of the way it is. It's a short. It's a YouTube short in the video.
You can go see it on this channel under the shorts tab. What is the sound though?
Do you see that?
That's me. That's me.
And then you could
oh yeah, I heard that.
And then you can see it shoot across the floor too. Let me see if
there it is.
See how it shoots across the floor too?
Yep.
It almost looks like that bat.
Yeah, I was gonna say that shadow, when it's over the floor, it has a shape to it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it has a shape down here. Like, if you
like when it's when it's over the wooden floor,
that is so.
It almost looks like it has scarily. It almost looks like it has a white tail.
Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah, I think we even slowed it down too before.
It looks like it has a white tail and it has a shape of like almost like two wings, which looks really creepy.
Yes, it's creepy for sure.
It was crazy, and it came right out of that room. I mean,
yeah,
just
like in between him and the door frame.
Yep. Yeah. And I think and this is right. You're right in the door frame. Lena and Ina's room. I'm in the kitchen. Roman's right next to me, and we're all kind of in the same like area almost because of the way it's set up, but like not really. Because we're in different rooms.
Did you see it at the time, or was it something you caught when you were watching it back later?
No,
she watched it like what, a minute or two later, like literally right
after.
I think you were curious.
I saw it. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
I thought I saw something, so I rewinded it back, and holy crap, Mekcee, look what this is! Holy crap!
Freaking out! I was like, oh my god!
See,
and as you guys know, I was when I got touched upstairs too. Remember? And guys, that was my first investigation. So sorry if I was like freaking out, but it was crazy. I'm in the attic, and literally, I was sitting next to Roman, and I didn't realize because again, I didn't know. Now I know more about cameras, but then I didn't, and I got like, I was getting touched on my arm, and I said to Roman, I'm like, oh my god, like it's touching me, something's touching me, and I was like, is there something on me? And he's like, no, and Mekcee had his headphones on, he couldn't hear, so I'm sure you would have addressed that at the time, Mekcee, but I don't think you could hear because you definitely had the headphones on.
Yeah, I give a lot of times I get preoccupied.
Well, you kind of. It was crazy.
All right, this is really low. You guys can hear it better on my intro. You can hear it better on my intro, but Here's where the actual video. See, this is the night cam foot. You could see this is 3 hours and 2 minutes long, and
Yeah,
like
that's the edit.
3 minutes and 41 seconds into it is where that voice comes and says that Mekcee's coming. Of course, I can't scroll anymore than that. 323 to 341, right where
Yeah,
it's
to
at.
preface, y'all weren't downstairs. Y'all were actually outside and had come back in and were coming back up. This was with you and your wife when you and your wife went.
Yeah. So here it's coming up. 335 at 341. You're gonna hear it. Did you guys hear it?
Yeah, I heard it. Crazy.
It's really faint, but you can hear it better on. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'll do this one so you guys can see. I wish I could fast forward this. Hold on. Here's my intro. Know anything? Are you? Okay. Can you tell us if the killer went through some that Debbie saw looking for the spirits who know about Kylie Rod? So there's with it amplified so that you guys could actually hear the Mekcee's coming, Mekcee's coming, Mekcee's coming. I didn't repeat it. I used it as part of the intro, but I thought that was so freaking awesome when we found out what it was. And shout out to who was it originally that did it? Jessica.
Yeah, somebody commented that.
Right here, Jessica.
Like,
So, good catch, Jessica Turner.
I
She
know,
did it.
where is Jessica Turner lately? She's so good at like the spirit box stuff too.
Yeah, she's probably still around. A lot of people get busy in life. We know how
I used
how
to
it goes.
look for her comments to.
We know how it goes. So,
Yes, sir.
let's see comments. Blah, 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 blah. I would be terrified. Well, I didn't know during the time that it happened because I actually had to post that video, and it was after me posting the video, and that's actually a behind the scenes one for the true paranormal junkies that are out there that love to will just sit there and watch it like 3 hours worth of something and see if they could scan through it or hear anything or see anything. Like,
yeah, a lot happened on that.
my hats off to you guys because it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of work. Like the willingness to be able to try to find those little snippets right there. It's a lot of work.
That was during the 8-hour live because you had that going while y'all were downstairs in the car, but that investigation too. Remember the lights were falling over.
Well, it actually had pushed the light over.
Yeah.
Like I'd set it up and it said, God, what did it say?
I can't remember. It did say something I can't remember.
Oh, God, what did it say? It said something to the effect to be a smartass and push the thing over, like basically telling me you're not going to put this camera right here, and it shoved my camera and my light over. I was like, what the heck? But I didn't know because I had already walked out of the room. But it said it as soon as the spirit box said it. It said something and then boop.
Probably called you a little B word then too.
That was with the Stanley. That's with the Stanley when it called me a little B.
I mean, spirits. Like,
yeah, we just went over that one too. So there's a lot of different information on this one. We have a tour too. I kind of want to walk you guys through the tour because I did a decent job. Like this is back in the day too. So I'll let you guys watch this tour video that I did.
Yeah,
I love the tour. It was really good.
And guys, we don't have to react to this one, so we can,
Yeah, we don't have to react because it's our content.
Yeah.
I got to get off the. Hold on, I got the.
I don't know if that Mekcee guy deletes it again, he may strike you if you're using it. So.
I would never. You already know that to be true too, because I had people that were getting millions of views off of my Idaho 4. You're like, they have like 3 million views.
Right.
on Idaho 4. I was like, whatever.
Like Mekcee.
If it helps them get views, it's cool. It was funny on TikTok. Like there was people that were getting millions of views when I did the Idaho 4, and then people started figuring out how legit it was. Like people started posting it on their pages. There's people that I think at one point, even one, I think one got more than me.
Yeah.
I think I'm at like 3.9, and that person got like 4.
But they had you.
4.9 or something.
Oh, well, while we're talking about the Idaho 4 and TikTok, Mekcee only had, well, he has 2 accounts, but he only has one main account because there's 3 of them out there that pretend to be him and upload videos. Real fun stuff.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Apparently nothing, because we report them and they don't go away.
Yeah, the TikTok ones, if they're trying to steal the name, that's one thing. Like, I don't want them to steal my name, but TikTok won't do anything about it.
Oh, yeah, no, the videos, it's whatever. Because your name's always on the video.
All right, let's see. Here it is, the axe merger. All right. Can you see it?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
This is my journey through the
This is a little
Villisca
bit
axe
long,
murder
so-
house in Villisca, Iowa. My name is Mekcee. I'm a paranormal true crime investigator from Denver, Colorado. The victims: Josiah Moore, 43, Sarah Moore, 39, Herman Montgomery Moore, 11, Mary Catherine Moore, 10, Arthur Boyd Moore, 7, Paul Vernon Moore, 5, and their guests: Ina May Stillinger, 8, and Lena Gertrude Stillinger, 12. On Sunday evening, June 9th, 1912, Josiah Moore and his wife Sarah took their 4 children, Herman, Catherine, Boyd, and Paul, to the Children's Day service at the Presbyterian Church. Accompanying them was Lena and Ina Stillinger, neighbors who had asked their parents permission to stay overnight with the Moore children. The service ended around 9:30 p.m., and that's when they left this church, taking this road that you'll see now. This would have been the same road that they would have traveled down to get to their house, just 3 blocks away. When they arrived home, they had milk and cookies before going to bed, not knowing the gruesome fate which awaited them, to become known as the Villisca Axe Murders. One of the suspects in the murders was the Reverend George Kelly. He was a very odd fellow with a checkered past. At 5:19 a.m. the morning following the murders, the Reverend George Kelly left Villisca on board the westbound number 5 train and allegedly told fellow travelers there was 8 dead souls back in Villisca, Iowa, butchered in their beds while they slept. Kelly returned 2 weeks later and, posing as a detective, joined a tour of the murder house with a group of investigators. Kelly had a history of mental illness, including a breakdown as an adolescent. On August 31st, 7 a.m., Kelly signed a confession to the murder, saying God had whispered to him to suffer the children to come unto me. Kelly recanted his confession at the trial, and his case went to the jury on September 26th. The jury deadlocked 11-1 for acquittal. A second jury was immediately impaneled, but acquitted Reverend Kelly in November. Henry Moore was another suspect in the Villisca axe murders. There were many different murders in the Midwest that were done with an axe. This made people believe that Henry Moore was the serial killer that was responsible for all of these crimes. Henry Moore was actually convicted of the murders of his mother and maternal grandmother in Columbia, Missouri, just months after the murders in Villisca. Moore's family members were killed just as brutally as the victims in Villisca, and his weapon of choice was an axe. As more and more crimes popped up around the area, they found the similarities between them more distinct and striking. Another suspect in the Villisca axe murders was Frank F. Jones. There were at least two compelling reasons to believe that Jones had nursed a hatred of Joe. First, he had worked for him for 7 years, becoming the star salesman of Jones's farm equipment business. But Moore had left in 1907, which made them head-to-head rivals. And what was worse is he was also believed to have slept with Jones's daughter-in-law. By 1912, the relations between Jones and Moore had grown so cold that they began to cross a street to avoid each other. In 1916, a theory was announced that Jones had hired a killer by the name of William Mansfield to murder Josiah Moore and his family. In July 1916, Burns Detective Agency Operative Wilkerson arrested Mansfield in Kansas City, Kansas. He was interrogated in Kansas City, then extradited from Kansas to face Montgomery County grand jury. Wilkerson suggested that Mansfield had been hired to murder Josiah Moore. The rest of the victims were supposedly collateral damage by Iowa State Senator Frank Jones. The jury deliberated a week, and local opinion anticipated Mansfield would be bound over for trial. Instead, the jury returned no true bill, and Mansfield was released.
Oh, hey, I was just going for a drive, which is wild because up until very recently, the thought of driving more than 5 minutes.
Here's the Villisca axe murder house as it stands now in April 2021. Ahead, you'll see the chicken coop, and then off to the right-hand side, you will see the barn. There is no bathroom in the house, so they would have had to use the outhouse. And even this outhouse is very unsettling. As I sit here in front of the barn, I'm left with my thoughts and the surreal feeling of what happened in 1912. After the murders the next morning, neighbor Mary Peckham noticed that the family hadn't come outside to do any of their usual chores. Mary knocked on the door of the house, but nobody answered, and it was locked. After letting their chickens out, she rang Ross Moore, the brother of Josiah. As I took the same walk that Mary and Ross would have, they would have came this direction and came up directly to this door to check if it was locked. Ross had a spare key, and this is the door that he would have entered. As we enter into the house, you're left with a very unsettling feeling. Sickness, sadness. This would have been the kitchen. In the dishes, much as if the Moore family had never left. As we walk into the living room, to the left you will see the door that Josiah's brother would have entered through. It makes you wonder what his thoughts would have been as he walked into this house, realizing that something was not right. As I look around the living room, it makes you wonder how many countless hours were spent laughing, playing, sharing stories amongst each other. And within a moment's notice, it was gone. In the doorway to the right, on the door frame, is where they found the axe. On November 7th, 2014, Robert Larson Jr. stabbed himself in the chest. He was treated for his injuries and taken by medical helicopter to another medical center. The blood on the rug is from his injuries. This would have been the bedroom where they found Lena and Ina Stillinger. Investigators believe that all of the victims except for Lena Stillinger had been asleep when murdered. They thought that she was awake and tried to fight back as she was found lying crosswise on the bed and with a defensive wound on her arm. Lena's nightgown was also pushed up to her waist and she was wearing no undergarments, leading law enforcement to speculate that the killer sexually molested her or attempted to do so.
Are you a YouTuber? Here's how you can grow your YouTube following. Even if you currently
This would have been where the killer started, with Josiah Moore on the left and Sarah on the right. And above this dresser, one of the more disturbing things of the house, the axe imprint left in the wall. A constant reminder of what had happened here at Villisca. As I check the ceiling for more markings, they've been covered up and patched over. And now we make our way to the attic, where the killer or killers were believed to be hiding. 2 cigarette butts had been left, as if they were patiently waiting for the family to fall asleep. The second room that the killers would have gone into was this room. In this room was Herman Montgomery, Mary Catherine, Arthur Boyd, and Paul Vernon. Said after the first victims, Josiah and Sarah Moore, that the killer stood over here. There was a pool of blood that was found, as if they were trying to listen downstairs, as if somebody had woke up. Although the cellar didn't have anything to do with the killings, I wanted to go down there, as this was part of the house. As I got down there, you get a very creepy feeling as if something's watching you. Additional footage, I made my way to the Villisca Cemetery, as I wanted to find the Moore's final resting place. I also found Lena and Ina Stillinger's final resting place. It was within close proximity of the Moors' final resting place. I believe this to be the Stillingers' parents. I will never forget what happened between June 9th and June 10th, 1912, the Villisca axe murders.
All right. I don't remember the video being that long. Man, yeah, it's a trip to go back and like look over that. Let me pull this out real quick.
That's such a good video, though, too. I liked it. Damn.
New Orleans, yes. So
Yeah,
that's
let's
where
go to Nola's. Let's go.
looks like there's several people who want us to go to New Orleans. You guys want us to go to New Orleans for an investigation?
You know, honestly, that's the place to go. That's the
There's a
the
lot of
seat
stuff
of
over there.
voodoo.
I've been putting it off.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's the place to go. If you want
Yeah.
to find some stuff,
Definitely.
yep.
That would be wild.
You want to go see
Andrew
some
Jackson Hotel.
up close and personal caskets that
So-
have bodies above ground, right there.
Yep. And during hurricanes and stuff, when it got flooded, unfortunately, some even,
Yeah.
yeah,
They came out and said,
Yeah.
"Hi, Mekcee."
But yeah, those above ground, and you can walk down the little steps to them and like peek in the door. And
Mhm.
anybody that's ever watched Vampire Diaries, they didn't film a lot there, but they based their background off of New Orleans. That main cemetery down there.
I want to go to that house. What's her name's house? Marie.
Yes.
Yeah, Marie Laveau's house, because it is like the mecca of haunted houses.
I just want to go to Andrew Jackson because so many have said like Confederate soldiers show up at the end of their bed. Like it was a brothel way back in the day. And
Mhm.
I'm like, oh God, I want to go so bad. Andrew Jackson's on board.
We're running longer than I expected.
Yeah. What are we covering again? I'm just kidding.
Well, we actually did it. We showed the footage
Yeah.
of it. We talked about it.
No, we have fun.
I forgot that video gave a pretty good history about what's going on. Anna did an awesome little presentation on here. God, I'm just gonna share it with everybody because I don't think I'm gonna have time. But she always does really great on this one, on all this research. But I'm gonna share it with you guys, so I'll put it in the comments. So if you guys are interested and look at this, look, there's so much information on this case, and it's such an interesting, fascinating case. Thank you, Anna, for putting this together. But it kind of goes over the details, the timeline, the details of who is there, suspects. Look, like Lena and Ina Stillinger's room, in the bedroom where Lena and I. It's kind of like the same things that I went over. The part that grossed me out was the slab of bacon thing. Because that would insinuate, obviously, they were doing some nasty stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Villisca's Anna's baby also. So this isn't just, research about the place. Like she's put her heart and soul into Villisca and the research behind it. I wonder if you can even post that on the Facebook group.
Yeah, I probably can. We should if we can. Here's kind of the layout of the house. Really interesting. That's the basement. There's like pictures of what it looks like. This attic is so weird. It's such a weird place to be.
It has those nails too. You have to be really careful.
Here's the main suspect. Now, for those of you who know about the case, who would you guys say, like, in your opinion? I'll go down from the top to the bottom over here on our side too. MJ, if you had somebody to guess who did it?
I don't know the names, but Anna would be able to say it's the like the railroad guy, because I think he got on the train after.
This is the railroad guy, Henry Lee Moore. He had also killed, what was his grandmother? Somebody? Let's see. Yeah, his grandmother. Several months after the Villisca, Henry Moore also considered a suspect, and it was like very similar to what had happened. And I think this is probably one of my top suspects too. this guy.
Yeah.
And if you know about they talk about how like a lot of traffic would just go through there and jump on the train. So literally it could have been somebody that just did that, jump on the train and then go. And back in this day, this was not that uncommon. And it was kind of along that railroad road, you know, because people would go there, do their little thing, and you'd hop on the train and then boom, you're out, you know, like you could get away with it.
Right. And also, I don't know if she put it in the PDF or not, but there was a similar murder that happened down in your neck of the woods in Colorado. And like to listen to Anna talk about this case it's very eye-opening and interesting, and I could hear her just talk about it all day long because she's made so many connections from the train, you know, where if it was this person, they got on the whoever, regardless of who it was, if they got on the train and went to this place. And
he came back awkwardly. Originally, that was my first thought. Is I really originally thought it was the Reverend. I was like, it's probably the Reverend. But after I studied more on the case, I don't think it was him. I think he was just a freaking weirdo. He had problems before with psychological things beforehand too. But he also came back in and pretended to be a police officer and went back in just so he could view the scene of the crime. Yeah. And I don't think, to me, it wouldn't make any sense. Like if he was that curious about it, like he really wanted to know like what happened, you know, and the stories just aren't all adding up. I know somebody said on the train, oh, well, he came up with this before he told the story before it had actually happened. And, you know, he was acquitted. You know, it just, if you read into it, it doesn't all add up. I don't think it was a preacher. I don't think it was a preacher. Idaho 4 was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. It was interesting. We have a lot of different ones that were really crazy. That house and New Orleans. Yeah. It's worth it. It's a very interesting house. If you guys are ever, the problem is nobody is ever in over there in Villisca, Iowa. You know, it's like a very remote little town, and there's nothing.
You go there to visit Villisca.
That's literally what you have there. There's 5 families murdered from 1910 to 1917 that is connected by the train. See, exactly. That's what I was saying. That's when my research I found out too. It's just like a thing that just happens. It's like just happened along the trains, and it's crazy too because there was a lot of axe murders. Like it wasn't just that. Like it was sad what happened to this family because it was not only all of the family. And it was the neighbor's kids. Like it's just terrible.
Yeah.
Horrific.
Very serial killer like.
You know, I was even saying I wish because back then they didn't really obviously collect DNA, but and they had so many people trample through that house before the police even showed up. That
they said it was like a circus. Like when they describe it, it was like people were coming in and going out and coming in and going out. Everybody wanted to see, isn't it really fascinating to see like how like
we're all kind of
would you want to go see it? Would you want to see it?
I don't know that I would want to see it by walking through, but I mean, I like the true crime. I like the paranormal.
Do you like would you want to see like actual dead bodies and dead children? Like
I have looked up crime scene photos because I'm morbidly curious about stuff like that, but I don't know that I would walk in somewhere.
Yeah. Like it's different to walk in, like looking at crime scene photos versus actually going in. I couldn't go into a place and like I don't know how people do it. That like detectives, that you gotta have an ironclad stomach, man. You go in there and you view kids. I think that's where it would ultimately get me, is seeing the kids like that. It just would tear me up something fierce.
Yeah, you don't do well with the kids.
I can't do it. Like I can't go see like a kid brutally murdered. Like you talk about some of these like Gabriel Hernandez and other ones. It just turns your stomach, and I can't. Like,
when you covered Cash Vernon, oh my gosh! Like you were crying. I think we all cried watching you cover Cash Vernon, the little boy that was taken from his bed.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It just makes you tears me up. But it's just I don't think I could do it. I don't think I'd have the stomach. Now, like what you said, like with viewing crime scene photos, for me that's different. Like unless it has children involved, I don't like to see like
Right.
children like beaten or murdered, or I don't like to see that. But if it has to do with older, adults or even younger adults or things like that, I'm genuinely curious, not in a morbid sense, but like, how did it happen? How did the person get away? Is there any details that's left that could help capture that person? Like I start like trying to piece things together. So like when I see those, it's a little bit different, like a crime scene photo you see, like kind of like the OJ Simpson one. Like,
Right.
you see the crime scene photos and yeah, it's grotesque, but you can see that looks more of a crime of passion, right? Like somebody
Right.
had a personal vendetta against them, the way that they had did them. And so those, I don't know, but like when it comes time to kids, I can't do that. Like if that happened in my neighborhood and there was kids and I knew there was kids in that thing, I wouldn't even want to go in the house to begin with anyway. Like if, let's say a murder happened like next door, somebody got murdered, got next door, and they're like, oh yeah, the door's open, come on in and see. Like I wouldn't want to see it. Like I wouldn't want to see it. Maybe I'll look at something that happened like on the news or clippings or something, but I wouldn't want to physically be inside of that place. Like I don't want to be there. Now
But I wonder.
after everything's cleaned up,
Mhm.
it's gone, and then I can visualize and then I can see like what happened, where they were planted. I use that for investigation purposes so that we can do our investigation, right? The paranormal investigation. Like they were here, they were in this location, this is what happened, blah, 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 blah. Just like the Villisca axe murder house. I went and sat on the bed where Josiah and Sarah were. I went and sat on the bed and did a spirit box session, and that's where they were, and kind of talked about it. And so like you do those things, like you have to have knowledge about what had happened and what took place and where it took place, so that when you're doing the spirit box sessions, you can get as close to accurate as when you're trying to communicate. Because when they talk, they can communicate things that obviously we catch on the spirit box session. So
I wonder if they went in there too, because like you were saying about looking at the crime scene photos, you want to see how it happened, why it happened, and put pieces together. Back then, I don't know. Maybe they didn't really have like, I mean, they had doctors and stuff, but like when people passed away, a lot of times the families were the ones that got them ready. And I don't know, maybe it just didn't seem that off to them but also they were like, holy cow, how did this happen? I need to do my own research and go in there and look.
There's so many things like you see, even cases that we've covered in the, like for instance, when they ruled, oh my gosh, Debbie Collar, when they ruled Debbie's,
that was not a suicide. Sorry.
when they ruled it a suicide, and then they came back and they recanted and said it wasn't a suicide, it was a murder. But look at that, like look how many inaccuracies and things like that you see that happen on a day-to-day basis in a case. And it's like, oh, it's a suicide. And then it's funny to me because you have people that come back and on the spirit box it said it wasn't a suicide, it said it was a murder, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have those people that come in there like, ooh, see, we told you the paranormal, blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. Look. First off, look, we're not saying that's going to be always 100% accurate. That's silly to say that a spirit box is always going to be 100% accurate, but sometimes it is scary accurate. However, people that were over there like poking at us and being like, "Oh, it's see, I told you it was a suicide." Blah, 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 blah. First off, you know how many times that they label things a suicide that's a murder? Like I can't tell you how many times that law enforcement has botched that. Countless times, again and again and again and again. And here's another case, just like Debbie. Like they ruled it a suicide, and now they've come back and said, "Oh, well, actually, scratch that. It wasn't a suicide. We're just kidding. Yeah. We're just kidding. It was actually a murder." So I mean, but the people that came in after the fact and they're like, "Hey, the paranormal stupid."
Yeah, but we're not what we get in the findings though, that's not what we're saying. Spirit's saying that. It's not like
whatever the spirit said.
We're just putting on there.
We're relaying the message. Yeah, it's not what we're saying. We're relaying the message. Yeah. But I found it funny too because I look at it now and I'm like, You said you came back to make a comment about how wrong we were. And yet again, here we go.
Right.
There's always going to be people like that though on either side,
And and it's sad that like I hate being right on the spirit box sometimes. Honestly, I hate being right on the spirit box sometimes. It brings me no satisfaction. It brings me no joy to be like, for instance, Kylie Rodney. It says that it overlooked her. It was like you guys missed me basically in Lake Prosser. It even said the direction that they turned off. Like it went into all those details on the spirit box and the findings. You think that gives me pleasure and joy? Like, guess what? We found her first before. No, that's not. Like if the best scenario for me, would be that we are 100% wrong, that the spirit box was just the most inaccurate thing. And guess what? Kylie was over at a friend. She got drunk. She partied. She didn't want to go home. She was scared and disappeared for a week. And then all of a sudden she's back. Why? Because that's what we want. We want that person to be alive. We want that person to still be out there. We want that to do that. And sometimes we'll do a spirit box sessions when there are no other answers. There are no, like, nobody knows where to find them.
Like Summer Wells.
Like overlooked. Yeah, Summer Wells, Kylie Rodney. Nobody could find her for weeks. Like they had scoured there, but Adventure with Purpose comes in and boom, there she is. So it often gets missed in these cases. And that's why we do what we do. Like we try to come up with the answers. And it sucks that sometimes the answer is, yes, they're dead. And then you hear it on the spirit box, yes, they're dead. And sometimes people will think, oh, you guys are so insensitive. No, it's not us trying to be insensitive. It's just us trying to get answers. We're not trying to relay to you that this person is not dead or whatever. I can give you several for instances. One, Jalissa Fuentes, somebody that was in close connection with the family that reached out. They saw that we were going to do a spirit box session on her. And they reached out and they asked if we could please not do one because they were still in hopes that they were going to find Jalissa Fuentes alive. And I said, absolutely, out of respect for you guys, I know that you guys are doing that. We were just trying to help. We're trying to do our things. Please tell them we're praying for them. Please tell them, we're sending all of our love and blah, 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 blah. And I canceled the spirit box session. Why did I cancel the spirit box session? I know everybody wanted to do it and everybody wanted to do it. I canceled it out of respect because the family reached out and they said, hey, we still have hopes that she's alive. Okay, absolutely. We're just trying to help. So if that's how you guys feel, absolutely. We're with you. We're praying that she's still alive. We're trying to do the best we can and what we know how to do to try to help. And so that's one, for instance. Quentin is another one. Quentin Simon, it came out and then we were about to do a spirit box session and then we found out about the mom and the grandma and everything, and details started coming to light. I canceled that spirit box session because I'm like, well, if they have details about it and it's going to come out, like, I'm not going to
you had also had a loss in your family too that week.
Yeah, and I'd had a loss in my family too, but I just canceled it because of that. I was like, I'm not going to do it because if law enforcement is doing their job and they have found a lead to where they had already found and the whispers about it were that they found where Quentin was. I'm not going to do a spirit box session on a little kid if the police have done their job and they've actually located him. Like that cancels out what we're trying to do. Besides the fact of if there was a message to family, but the family was involved. So then it becomes another moot point because I'm not trying to relay a message to the family. What did Quentin want to say to his mom, or blah, blah, blah. Well, when your family has something to do with the murder or the disappearance, that canceled that. So that canceled two things out. One, the law enforcement found a lead, and then two, so we canceled it. We're like, no, we're not going to do that. That's not what we're here to do. We're not here to be like, oh yeah, let's just get as many views as we can off of these things. And trust me, if I wanted to rub things into the ground too, I've talked with my team about this. For instance, how many follow-up videos I could have done on the Idaho 4, for instance?
I was about to bring that up. Like,
if it was all about views. Yeah. And I even told MJ, I was like, she's like, do you not want to? She's like, do you not want to do a follow-up video with it? I was like, no, I really don't. We found what we have. They got the dude in custody that supposedly is for it. And if it was all about views, like I could have rode that wave. We could ride a lot of those waves and try to cash in. Oh yeah,
we could still go back and do Idaho 4 again, and
we could do a lot of them. We could go back and do a lot of those videos and a lot of those things. And we don't for that fact. We're like, look, we came here to do what we did. We did a spirit box session. We're trying to locate them. We're trying to help get a message and relate to the family if possible, if the family's not involved in part of it. And so if we've done that, we've done our job. I don't need to sit there and rub it in. Now, right. Summer Wells, for instance, this is one that is she's still not found. So we've tried multiple different times. I went out there. I feel in my heart, I feel like we tried our best to try to do what we could to locate Summer.
Mhm.
Like we even went out there physically to try to see if we could do a session to try to do it. Will I ever revisit again? I don't honestly know if I will. I would love for Summer to be found, but I don't know that I will because I feel like we did a lot already on it, and I don't want to keep poking it and keep poking it and keep poking it. We did a lot of sessions on Summer, so those are those, for instance, like the ones that are an anomaly that we'll go back to and try to do it.
Right.
Hey, what's up, Claire? So anyway, yeah. So we came to talk about Villisca axe murders. We kind of went off on a little bit of tangents, but for you guys that are interested in the paranormal side of the investigations rather than the spirit box sessions, we have a second channel that's up there. We posted the link. I don't know if
I'll repost it.
Yeah, if you could repost it, we'll get it up there. And what else was I going to say? I drew a blank. Oh my god!
About every Tuesday we do.
Oh yeah, every Tuesday we try to. Well, it won't be every single Tuesday. We'll probably do like 2 weeks in a row or 3 weeks in a row, and then take a break, and then 2 weeks. We'll try to doing that, but we'll do like a good majority of Tuesdays. We'll try to do like what we're doing right now. These lives, these are usually for members only. We came in here to show you guys like kind of what it is, what it's about, what we talk about, what we show.
Thank you, Anna posted the link.
Oh, thanks, Anna.
Make sure to subscribe, right? Because that's
so spread that, because that's where the new investigations are going to take place. We will no longer do the investigation on this channel. So let's see, another breaks my heart. Serenity. Yeah, Serenity. There's so many cases that are my secret. It was wild to see the truck chase. Oh, I know. It was crazy when we were in the moment. We're like,
Remember, yes,
there's a truck coming.
Oh my God.
It was crazy.
It was chasing us. It was scary.
MZ, oh, thank you. We appreciate that. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your support and your love. The investigation channel, Anna. Thank you, Summer. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to probably close up the session. I went a lot longer than I thought I was going to. Usually these sessions are maybe 45 minutes to an hour and going over kind of what it is. I will post a link to the research that Anna did, because it's got a lot of great interesting things. I know a lot of people are still interested in the Villisca axe murders. So there will be a link to go over details. Anna always does a great, fantastic job of breaking it down. So thank you again, Anna. We hope you guys have a good night. Thanks for joining us tonight. Remember, if you guys want to catch streams like this in the future, we have the members only. These are the members only videos. Make sure to go jump and join on as a member. You can do it for like the lowest one is like $1. And if you're $1 subscriber, you guys can come check us out as we do the behind the scenes. So, I hope you guys have a good night. Again, thank you for joining us. Talked about the Villisca axe murders, one of my all-time favorite places that I've been so far. We have an investigation coming up new next week, 2 actual investigations next week. I think if you're a Patreon member, if you're a $5 member on YouTube, we're going to do that live behind the scenes so that you guys can see both of those investigations. I call it the Atchison Demon House. And then the other one is the Sally House, which is also a known demon house too. So we're going from one demon to the next demon. It's cool. Just got to go from one demon to the next.
Might bring one with us back,
You got to go from one demon to the next,
Listen, when you get irritable because you're tired and
it happens too.
Energy, Mother Hen may have to, put a foot out somewhere.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll do it.
Gatorade and snacks.
You guys know I like to run on the lowest juice I can when I go out there and I battle those demons. It's only fun if you go out and do that.
Roman and junk after.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a good night. Thanks, MJ. Thanks, Jen. Thanks, Roman, for joining us tonight. This is Mekcee and team. We are signing off, guys. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Thanks so much for joining us and watching us and checking us out. I'm sick of talking.
Oh my God.
Thank you guys for watching. And if you
Make
enjoyed
sure
the
you hit
content,
end like.
make sure to hit that like button
Yes.
and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And I'll see you guys on the next investigation.
Oh yeah. See you guys.